What is up, everybody? This is episode number 15, ESO Recapped. We are on the hills, guys. Tomorrow morning, the Elder Scrolls Online, finally. We've got the game ready to play it. 5-day early access is starting tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. It's here, finally. Got a big episode for you guys today. We're going to be covering some of the things of the 1.0 update. We're going to be covering veteran content. Also going to be looking at the PvP campaign list. And finally, I want to go over just everything about the game. Just a quick run through of what you get in the Elder Scrolls Online. And the meaning of me doing that is basically for those people that's sitting out there and they don't know, do I want to buy this game? Is it worth it? And they're on the fence of pre-ordering this or not, and how it could affect them. So to start things off, we're going to get into the quick points. First off, we got Ant Woods from YouTube. He's saying, is the gear from PvE and the gear from PvP specific to that type of playstyle? No. You can use any gear, PvE or PvP, in Cyrodiil or out in PvE outside of Cyrodiil. The gear is not specific. You'll find gear inside of Cyrodiil at vendors. You can take that gear out into dungeons and run dungeons with it, or vice versa. Some questions that we've seen on the Facebook page and from a lot of people. How do I know what early access I have? Do I have the 5-day, the 3-day, whatever? If you go to account.elderscrollsonline.com, log into your account, click on billing history, and you will see at the bottom there where your key code that you put in, it will say 5-day early access or 3-day early access. When does early access start? As I said at the top of the episode, tomorrow morning, the 30th, 7 a.m. Eastern for the 5-day early access. The 3-day early access starts on April the 1st, 2014 at 7 a.m. Eastern. They are talking that the live servers themselves will go up on 4/3 at 7 p.m. So be watching for that, guys. Now what we're going to get into tonight, as I said, we've got some main points to cover for the 1.0 update. I'm going to let these credits roll while I cover these points. We're going to get some good music from Makula. So the first thing first, patch update 1.0. ZeniMax has fixed the passive racial bugs on Dark Elves. They've also fixed some bugs with the Dragon Knight, the Nightblade, Sorcerer, Vampire, and Werewolf. Templars, you're going to see that you have increased health restoration of Healing Ritual and the Magicka cost to match. They've also slightly reduced the radius. They have also adjusted Lightweaver on the Healing Ritual ability. It now causes Healing Ritual to give ultimate to you and each ally you heal. They've reduced the damage buff of Nova. Not the damage, but the damage debuff of Nova. The Breton racial motif is now tradable. That was a bug that we've seen for quite a while, that you could not trade that motif, so you will be able to trade that motif in the live server. They've also implemented an Overflow server. The purpose of the Overflow server is if the megaserver reaches its capacity limits and it can no longer take any further players, players are going to have an option. They can either sit in a queue and be prompt with an estimated time to get into the game, or they can choose to go into the Overflow server, begin playing immediately, creating their character, getting into the game. They will not have access to their friends list, guild, or PvP. So those things will be disabled. The player will also be alerted whenever the mega server can take them into the actual mega server from that overflow. Next, you're going to have weapon racks. Weapon racks are going to be put back into the starting tutorial. You're not going to have that single weapon sword laying there on the table. They got a lot of feedback about that. They're putting back in sword and shield, a staff, and a two-handed maul. That's going to be your choices at the starting area. They've had hundreds of event fixes that would cause missing NPCs, monsters, and objects to disappear. So that a lot of fixes there for that. That's the gist of your 1.0 update. A lot of other fixes was in with that 1.0 update, but that's the main points that I felt needed to be mentioned, and that's going to be in the live server. Next point is veteran content in ESO. What do you guys what can you expect whenever you get to veteran rank? What are you going to be doing? First thing, I want to cover PvP. Okay, most people's going to be like, PvP's not in game. Technically, it is. That's one side of it. You can enter PvP at level 10, but Cyrodiil is an ongoing war. As you level up through the ranks, you're going to gain access to more skills, more powerful abilities. It's going to expand your experience in the war. You're going to become a better, more powerful player for it. Also, you're going to be finding sky shards. You're going to have dungeons to explore, Ayleid ruins, things like that. Enemies to be killing. You're going to come across towns that you're familiar with, just exploring in Cyrodiil, that you've seen in previous Elder Scrolls games. Some of the methods that you're going to see of doing Cyrodiil is not just grouping up with tons and tons of people. You can go in by yourself or get a friend to tag along. Just go and explore the world, you know. You can have small group PvP. This would consider of things like going and attacking some of the enemy resources, or even just doing quests in Cyrodiil or exploring caves. That's entirely possible. Next, you're going to have large group PvP. This is where the big war is going to come into play. You're going to be grouping up with a lot of players. You're going to see hundreds of people on the screen at one time, attacking keeps, taking resources, fighting for these keeps to become the Emperor, and also trying to control the Elder Scrolls. You can go back and watch some of my detailed episodes from ESO Recapped. I can't remember the exact episode number. I had to go back and look at it, but it is detailing Cyrodiil. So if you need more information about that, I urge you to go check that out. Next, for veteran rank content. I'm just halfway through this, guys. This is your veteran rank stuff only. PvE. This is going to be the second side of veteran rank stuff. After you complete the main storyline and you get to veteran rank 1, this is really where the game starts opening up with you. For instance, if you chose EP, your next zone that you're going to go into is going to be the Daggerfall Covenant zone. You're going to be able to play through the Daggerfall Covenant zone and see how it was for them going through their adventures. Then you'll go through AD and you'll be able to see that. It's a round robin. So you choose DC, then you'll go over to, I think it's EP, and then to AD, etc. It just goes in a round robin. Veteran rank leveling is much more difficult than it is leveling 1 to 50. It's much slower. You will still need to get sky shards to advance your character skills. You will not be getting attribute points or skill points for leveling your veteran rank. You're still going to be doing quests, completing dark anchors, crafting, collecting achievements. Basically everything that you've done from 1 to 50 continues on into your veteran ranks. But that's not it. You're also going to have these 4-player group PvE dungeons. You played through these things, the regular dungeons, the 16 dungeons, you played through those. At veteran rank, there are those still present, except they're much, much more difficult. The story continues for these regular dungeons, except in veteran rank, there is 6 of them at launch. You're going to be fighting different monsters, different bosses. There's actually going to be new areas of the dungeon that you didn't explore in the regular version. So it's not just a rinse and repeat of the regular dungeon with more health and more damage, etc. It is different stuff. Next, you're going to have adventure zones. Adventure zones, you're going to have Craglorn. This is not in at launch, but it will come in shortly after launch sometime. We've got to do some testing on it, but I don't think anyone's going to be anywhere near close to doing any of this content anytime soon. But just to give you an overview of Craglorn and what we know about it, I gave you some information last week. Let's get a little bit more detailed. First, again, it's intended for groups of 4 players. This is not solo content. This is group content. This story in Craglorn revolves around a mysterious removal of constellations from the sky. You may remember from previous Elder Scrolls games, the Mark of the Warrior, Thief, Mage, Serpent. All of these plays a role in Craglorn and unraveling the mysteries of Craglorn. You can imagine that Craglorn is the same thing as a PvE zone, except it's geared for 4 people. You are needed to be in a group of 4 to do the content. There are bosses and sky shards that you'll need to find. You're going to have events similar to Dark Anchors, but with a different fiction, and it's much more difficult. We don't know the details of exactly what this means, but it's something that ZeniMax has said. It's very interesting to see what they're going to go with. There are also story areas that are similar to dungeons. Each have a quest guiding you through them. They can be replayed multiple times. There are a lot of different little events, full storylines, quests, more crafting opportunities, and entries to trials. Trials is what is inside of Craglorn that is intended for your 12-man content. This content gets increasingly difficult. It has a staging area that you can talk to your group, plan your attack. You're limited to a number of resurrections with trials. These are known as your soul reservoir. Too many resurrections means that you have failed the trial. It takes a lot of coordination to survive a trial. Some of your most beautiful surroundings that Elder Scrolls has to offer is found inside of these trials. If you make it to the end of the trial, that means that your group can have the chance to be featured on the leaderboards. These trials are going to have leaderboard rankings. It has a running clock, and mistakes, including deaths, adds a time penalty to what you guys clock in for. If you fail the trial, you can restart and try it again. A little bit of gaze into the future. ZeniMax has said that they're going to be introducing new systems over time, which will add both pre- and post-level 50-game content. ZeniMax's goal is to ensure that you have plenty to do on any given day for how you're wanting to play the game and what you're wanting to do. Third point for tonight's episode is PvP campaigns. PvP campaigns, this was some information that was released recently. When you get into the game and you go to set your home campaign, you're going to have a choice of 10 names to put into a campaign. That will be where you're fighting, and all of these names, they're just not picked out of a hat. They actually have a little bit of lore behind them. It pertains to weapons that you found in previous Elder Scrolls games. So we're just going to go through the 10 that you're going to see. First, you can choose Bloodthorn. Bloodthorn was a unique dagger. It was found in Skyrim. Scourge is the second one. It's a unique Daedric mace. It was forged from ebony, used to summon Daedra from Oblivion. It was found in Elder Scrolls Morrowind. The third campaign is known as Chrysamere. Chrysamere was a powerful claymore coming from Elder Scrolls Morrowind. Fourth is Ariel's bow. Ariel's bow is a legendary elven longbow. It comes from Elder Scrolls Arena originally, and it was featured in a bunch of the future Elder Scrolls game, if not all of them. Pretty sure it's in all of them. Fifth, the Wabbajack. Everybody's heard of the Wabbajack at some point in time if they've been involved in Elder Scrolls. It's a Daedric artifact, comes from Daggerfall. It's associated mostly with Sheogorath. Its purpose, it transforms people into creatures. It's a unique weapon, to say the least. Sixth is Volendrung. Volendrung is a unique two-handed Daedric artifact forged by the Dwemer. It's AKA, also known as, the Hammer of Might. It comes from Elder Scrolls Arena, and it was featured in future Elder Scrolls games. Seventh choice of campaigns that you've got is Skullcrusher. It's a unique one-handed mace. It comes from Morrowind. The eighth choice, Dawnbreaker. It's a Daedric artifact given by the Daedric Prince Meridia upon completing a quest in the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. 9 is Goldbrand. Goldbrand was a unique katana with many tales of mystery to it. It was featured in several of the Elder Scrolls games and comes from the Elder Scrolls Arena originally. And the last campaign that you can choose would be Hope's Fire. Hope's Fire is a one-handed long blade made by the Dwemer, presented as a wedding day gift to Alamexia and Neverar. It comes from the Elder Scrolls Tribunal, which was an expansion of Morrowind. Last points that I want to go through, and I think this is extremely important to many people, and there are still people out there that are undecided on where they want to whether they want to buy the game or not. And what I want to do is, all these episodes that I've done for you guys, the past 14 episodes, I've covered a ton of content, and I've tried to deliver it quick and to the point, and I want to hit back home and just recap the basics of what you're getting in the Elder Scrolls Online. So first, thing that you're going to get, some of the features here. Races. You're going to have the choice of 9 different races, 9 different base races to start out. If you purchase the Imperial Edition, there is a 10th race for you. The races include Argonian, Dark Elf, Nord, Breton, Orc, Redguard, High Elf, Khajiit, Wood Elf, and like I said, if you purchase the Imperial Edition, you get the Imperial. Next, classes and class skill lines, or skill lines in general. There are 4 starting classes in the game. Each of these class starting lines have 3 skill lines inside of them. They include Dragon Knight, Nightblade, Sorcerer, and Templar. Each of those 4 has 3 individual skill lines in them. And you can actually go back to the last 2 episodes of ESO Recapped, see all 4 of those given in detail. Next, you're going to have a multitude of other skill lines that all classes and races have access to. This is a massive skill point system. It's directly tied to your character's race, class, the additional skill lines that you get in the world, and including crafting. You choose where you want the points to go based on what's important to you. If you want to be a master craftsman, throw a bunch of points in crafting. That's where your skill points will be at mainly. If you want to be really great at a whole bunch of different roles with combat and healing, etc., you're going to have a lot of war abilities, if you will. Next, combat. Combat is a real-time combat system. It has NPC collision, weighted combat, which makes combat feel realistic. You can choose to play in first-person or third-person view. Next, the world. The Elder Scrolls Online is massive. Holy crap, it's big. You're going to start with 19 different zones in the game. That is 6 zones per alliance and the 1 PvP zone, Cyrodiil. The game has an excellent lore and story built into it. The guys at ZeniMax has just nailed this game with a strong lore and tying it into the Elder Scrolls games. I can't say it enough as to how much work these people have put into this game. And you can see the names scrolling through right now as to how many people has put their efforts into this game. They've done great. There is tons of quests that you do when you want to do them. You're not going to have an on-the-rails system. You pick up a quest, go do the quest when you want to do it. You want to explore, go explore. There's nothing telling you that you have to do something at a certain time. There are tons of open-world dungeons, caves, ruins, and just general exploration that you'll go through. You can run these dungeons by yourself. The open world dungeons, you want to do them by yourself? You can do them by yourself. You want to bring a friend? Fine, you can bring a friend. You could go down into one of these dungeons and stumble across somebody that's fighting for their life and save them, and help them out. And you two just go through and complete the dungeon. You're also going to be combating Molag Balls, Dark Anchors, and Dark Fissures. These are Molag Ball's attempt to pull Tamriel into his world of Cold Harbor. You're going to have waves of Daedra coming out. The Dark Fissures are intended more for solo or small group, like 1 or 2 people. The Dark Anchors are intended for larger groups, and they do get progressively difficult the more people that's there. You're also going to have 16 regular instanced dungeons. These are 4-player dungeons. You need 4 people to do them at level. You can be overpowered and go through them with lower people, yes, but if you're at level, you're going to bring 4 people to them. There will be 6 veteran instance dungeons. These are also 4-player dungeons. These are not a rerun of the same regular dungeon. It expands on the story. Like I said earlier, you get different monsters, different bosses, different mechanics, and there is also the different areas that you're going to explore in these dungeons. Adventure zones. I hit on these earlier, so I'm not going to bash it again over recapping everything. This is your large group content. This is considered raiding, if you will. Lastly, Cyrodiil. And that's not my last point. That's just for the PvE, the world side of things. But you got Cyrodiil. Cyrodiil is a massive PvP zone. I can't stress it enough as to how big Cyrodiil is. To try to put it into context for you, if you played Oblivion, they took Oblivion and dropped it inside of the Elder Scrolls Online in the middle of the map and said, there's your PvP zone. You've got an entire game to go do PvP in. You're going to be fighting to take keeps, become the Emperor, and control the Elder Scrolls. You can revisit the towns that you're familiar with from Oblivion, do quests, dungeons, explore ruins, just explore the world. Fight against people, plenty of options there. Next, you're going to have crafting. This crafting system is phenomenal. I have never seen a crafting system so well built, period, ever. You're going to have blacksmithing, clothing, woodworking, enchanting, alchemy, and provisioning for your crafting choices. And I would encourage you to go back to my ESO recap where I go into detail about the crafting system. It's just phenomenal the way they have everything laid out with the improvement systems, the appearance of the armor. It's great and it's meaningful. You need crafting in this game, and I urge you to get started in it early. If you play this game, it's super important. Technology and support. You've got the megaserver. There is no more switching between servers to play with your friends. You've got everybody right there at your fingertips that you want to play with. Add them to your friends list, throw them into your group, whatever. They're right there. There is a North America and EU server. Those are separate. But you can switch between the two. You can choose where you want to play. Now, wherever you make a character, if you make a character on NA, that character is going to be on NA. You can go and switch it to EU, make a character on EU, and play with your EU buddies. Customer support is phenomenal. I mean, anytime I've contacted ZeniMax, they've done an amazing job. These people really, really care about this game, the product they've developed, and they're behind it 110%. You're going to get updates every 4 to 6 weeks from ZeniMax. That gives you new content to explore and just new things to do every 4 to 6 weeks. And every bit of this is possible. I mean, I just took the last 10 minutes going through all this stuff, and that's just the general stuff. But it's all possible because you're supporting the game via the subscription. The subscription model makes this possible. It's so hard to deliver this kind of quality, this big of content, this constant content, the support, the servers, because you're paying a subscription. It's $14.99 a month, USD, $13.99 a month for purchasing 3 months up front, $12.99 a month if you purchase 6 months up front. I can tell you right now, it is worth it. I've sit and played the PTS for quite a while, about 3 months, and I've been testing since September myself. I'm not disappointed in the game at all. Very, very great job. Like I said, whenever I went into these points, I wanted to do this just to show you what the Elder Scrolls Online has to offer for you. Beautiful game, very well built. If you're still sitting on the ropes of, I don't know, maybe so, maybe I'll wait and see if it goes free to play. If you're remotely interested in this game, pre-order it now. You have 2 hours or whatever before they close pre-orders. You need to pre-order the game now. If you're even remotely interested in playing this game at any point in time, get those pre-order bonuses. They're amazing. The ability to play any race in any alliance, that within itself is worth the pre-order. They've already said that the Explorer Pack is not going to be available after launch. Does that mean we'll never get any race, any alliance? Possibly. But they've never said that it's going to be a default feature. So, again, if you're remotely interested in it, I urge you, pre-order right now. Even if it's just a digital standard, get it. You can upgrade to the Imperial Edition later. That's going to be there. That's going to wrap it for this episode. That's all my points. I hope that the content I just covered, helps somebody make a decision about the game, that I gave some new information that you didn't know. That's the purpose of these episodes. And as I always do every time that I run these episodes, I open the floor to the Twitch channel. I see that it's been scrolling quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and hit my panel here. I got Lanham, Inca, and Vindicator that's hanging out in the TeamSpeak with them here that's been monitoring chat and everything. So if you guys have something that somebody's asked, I'm just going to go ahead and start with Lanham. Lanham, do you have something that somebody said?
Yes, I've got something. The only one I've seen is from TN Tent 2000. He asked, so these trials, will they have loot or just be bragging rights?
We've not been given the exact details of the looting system in trials or even in the adventure zones. What I will say is adventure zones does push your veteran rank beyond level 10. Now, does that mean that the monsters there go veteran rank 11, veteran rank 12, and so on and so forth? I would assume so, but we don't know that for sure. But if that's the case, you're going to have gear that does the same. If I'm not mistaken, there was something said about special crafting opportunities or something like that in adventure zones. Landon, do you remember something about that?
As far as gear, no, I didn't. They said that there was going to be special crafting resources.
Yeah.
But I don't think they ever talked about gear drop. I think it's just been assumed the game's going to continue to drop gear since we're leveling past veteran rank 10.
Right. I mean, there's going to have to be something there to continue making this more difficult. Because if you go back to what I said earlier, I said that these trials, the trials themselves, get increasingly difficult. So to me, that is saying your first trial is going to be probably a veteran rank 10. Then you'll go on through the zone, you'll come across a veteran rank 11, 12, 13, up on through the ladder. Is that how it works? I don't know. I've not tested adventure zones. I've not seen them. I'm just relaying the information of what I know. So hopefully that answered that question. Something else?
TN Tent, if you look, I believe it was the last 2 videos you did, Defa, go over the classes.
Yes.
He's just asking if there's a Twitch that goes over the classes.
There is episode number 13 and 14. Episode 13, ESO Recapped, I covered Dragon Knights and Templars. All 3 skill lines, all their abilities, all their passives, the ultimates, and their morphs. All covered. Episode 14 covers Sorcerers and Nightblades. Does the same exact thing. I go through every skill in the Nightblade and the Sorcerer. It's actives and passives and ultimates, all covered, all the morphs. And if you need to know where that's at, it's youtube.com/Defatank.
And we got Frag Suru. Is that me? What is that noise?
That's Inca.
That's Enka.
Uh-oh. There we go. Sorry.
Says, if you have a second, I have a question trying to get something clarified. Do dungeon bosses enrage or have some sort of enrage timer? I think that's a great question.
You will see something like that, yes. There is a boss, help me with the dungeon name of it, the crocodile-looking boss that does the slamming stuff.
Spindle Clutch.
In Spindle Clutch, veteran rank. He will start pounding the ground, and rocks will start falling to the ground, and it starts pushing your group in closer to him. Actually, you got rocks falling on your head. So yes, there is that type of build, but it's not common. It is not something that ZeniMax strives for. You'll see it every once in a while, but most of these fights are based on mechanics, doing what you need to be doing. However long it takes is how long it takes, and it takes skill to get through this stuff, and I love ZeniMax for that. The occasional enrage push, it's good. You know, it puts people on the edge of their seats, but it's not something I think we need to to do every single boss fight. Hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, and I think it's important to make sure we double note that it is not a strategy that is involved in every boss. It's not even in half of the bosses. I think there's 2 bosses that have an enrage type of timer, or a timer that tells you you need to hurry up or get big boy health.
Yeah, I joined in a little late. What was how many of these trials can you do?
We don't know exactly how many trials are in there, just other than the fact that they get increasingly difficult. So I think that you're pretty much going to be stopped by the difficulty level. As far as repeating them and things like that, it appears like there's no kind of limit on being able to repeat them. You can go in and run them. If you fail, you can restart and start over. So I would say that you can go back and repeat them as much as you like. I see one from Voodoo here I want to grab real quick. Question, did you say the Overflow server will have a notification when the main server is taking more people, or is there no more warning? To my knowledge, yes, the Overflow will prompt you whenever you can join the mega server, and it will put you in you're in a queue, but you're in the Overflow playing. Your character, whatever you've done, will copy over to the mega server, and then your friends list, your guild, and PvP will become available to you to interact with. But that's the only 3 things that are disabled whenever you're on the Overflow, is your friends, your guild, and PvP. Everything else is available to you.
Devinance asked, what is max veteran level?
The maximum veteran rank level, we don't know. Bottom line, we don't know. And the reason being is because adventure zones extend your veteran rank beyond veteran rank level 10. Originally, 10 was the stopping point. And then Paul Sage come out and said that adventure zones will increase your veteran rank level beyond veteran rank 10. He's not said to what, though.
Got another question here from SSG Talls. I heard some alliances you can level faster from quests. Do you think that's true? I'm not sure if he's talking about like the Ebonheart Pact type alliances or the guild factions.
If I think that where he's talking about is pretty much where Angry Joe was talking about. He's going to roll AD because the quest seems closer together and easier to get to. My response to this is simply don't even succumb to a race. Period. You're going to kill yourself and the enjoyment of this game if you make it a race. You need to play what appeals to you. Where you want to be, how you want to play, that needs to be your focus. Regardless of how fast you can do it, it's irrelevant. I personally have tried both. Playing through the game, enjoying it, and reading and understanding what I'm doing, versus trying to speed level. And I will tell you right now, speed leveling, I can only take about an hour and a half to 2 hours of playing the game, and then it gets boring. I just don't like it. And what causes it is the simple fact that I lose track of what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm just simply running around, and wherever the little compass thing tells me to go is where I'm going. I don't know why I'm doing it. If you stop and listen to these quests and just allow yourself to get immersed in the quests themselves and enjoy the game, you're going to love it a lot more, and chances are you're going to level quite a bit quicker because you're going to know where you're going. Just because you can go through fast and pick up little quests here and there doesn't necessarily mean it's quick.
MP Colson asks, can you whisper to the regular server when in the Overflow server?
Don't think so. Your friends list and things like that is off limits. So even like a /W to whoever, that would be off limits. You're on an entirely different server at that point. I mean, they've basically taken 2 mega servers pretty much, and they're separate. But once the mega server opens up, you can transfer your character and join into the actual mega server. It'll copy it over to the actual mega server, and then you start playing with everything.
Ryler asks, so will my mount and Imperial Edition be ready tomorrow?
Yes, you will have access to your Imperial character, Imperial crafting. You're going to have the access to the Rings of Mara. There was something else in there, I thought. Am I missing something? I know the vanity pets are not there. Those will come on launch day. Trying to think
treasure
maps.
Treasure maps. I think the treasure maps are included with that as well. Thank you, sir.
Metal
Not a
Punks
problem, buddy.
asks, how exactly do the Rings of Mara work?
Rings of Mara is you go to a rededication shrine. Here in the rededication shrine location, you'll see a Shrine of Mara. You need to be with whoever you want to perform the Rings of Mara with, and there'll be an activation link. You'll select the person that you want to perform the ceremony with. The other person and you must accept that you want to perform the ceremony. Once it's done, it'll go through the little ceremony. It will generate 2 rings. That ring will have the name of that character that you perform the ceremony with. So whenever you put the ring on, and you both characters are wearing that ring, you both will get experience, bonus experience. And notice I said character, not account. That's the way it was in the PTS. I think that's the way they're going to leave it in live launch. I've not heard nothing else about that, but it's whatever character you do that with. So make sure whoever you pick, it's going to be somebody that's going to play that character. Don't just go out and say, hey, let's get hitched and, get bonus experience. Use it smart.
Rylar also asks, this is more of a speculation type question since we don't actually have any numbers, but will there be more or less people playing tomorrow?
I'd say there's going to be plenty of people playing tomorrow. I don't think there's going to be any shortage of people. They sold out of the Imperial Retail Edition of the Imperial Edition very quick. And I was surprised as to how quick some of these retailers sold out of them. I mean, it was up for like a day, and they was already saying we're out. So there's definitely a lot of people that's going to be playing. Who knows how many people digitally ordered and stuff like that. Yeah, there's going to be a lot.
Metal Punks asks, so do you have to be right there with them to gain the XP bonus for the Rings of Mara, or just logged on at the same time?
It's an excellent question. I actually don't know the answer to that one. Anybody that has used the Rings of Mara themselves, do you know that if distance is taken into effect?
There was a distance. It was roughly 400 feet or so.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Right.
You had mentioned that if you wanted to get the pre-order bonuses to do so now. Last I had heard, pre-order was going to go up until 4/4/14. Had that changed?
The last thing that I seen on the Facebook page is you got 1 day to pre-order.
For the 5-day head start.
Right. I don't know if that's going to go all the way up till 4/4/14. I wouldn't chance it. Bottom line, if you're sitting on the fence right now, if you're watching this channel right now and you're sitting on the fence, you better pre-order, period.
Yeah, because now it says 1 day left to secure 5-day early access.
Right. I mean, that is a pre-order bonus. That specifically is a pre-order bonus. That's that is the Explorer Pack. That's where that comes from. And the Explorer Pack is something that...
No, the Explorer Pack is separate.
The Explorer Pack includes the 5-day early access or the 3-day early access, depending on if you got the standard physical, which is 3 days, or if you got a digital copy or retail Imperial Edition. That includes the 5-day.
According to their help page, the Explorer Pack includes the maps, the monkey, the Rings of Mara.
Rings of Mara is Rings of Mara comes out of the Imperial Edition.
Or Explorer Pack just gives you the maps, as far as I know.
Yeah. The Explorer
and the
Pack
choice to use any race and any faction as well.
Because you get the Explorer Pack with your physical standard edition. and that only comes with 3 days.
Correct. But all pre-orders, regardless of what they get, they're going to get early access. They're going to get the Scuttler Vanity Pet,
User joined your
any
channel.
race in any alliance, and the treasure maps. That's the Explorer Pact. And, early access for the 5 days starts tomorrow. And that would be a pre-order from the digital Imperial Edition, retail Imperial Edition, or the digital standard. Now, does that mean that you could still go and order the physical standard edition to get that any race in any alliance? Maybe. I don't know. That's a tough question to answer, but bottom line is, on their Facebook page right now, they're saying 1 day left to secure your 5-day early access.
So,
Right.
Defa,
And
just to jump in, there is a help page in the knowledge base that states you can actually purchase all the way up until release on April 3rd at 7 p.m. and still get the early access and the any race, any faction,
There we go.
all the bonuses.
Thank you very much for clarifying that. So you can pre-order all the way up to 4/3, 7 p.m.
You just obviously won't get the early access portion of it.
Right.
Also, I should mention, because you said digital, it's only if you get the digital from ZeniMax themselves. If you order the digital through GameStop or any other place, you don't get the 5-day early access on the standard edition. Sorry, I just joined and you were talking about it, so I figured
Yeah.
I'd throw that out.
No, I mean, thank you very much for coming in and clarifying that. I mean, that's not something that I'd even considered, investigating. So, great
It's
information.
been a lot of questions on the Facebook page lately
Yep.
that I've answered on that. So,
Is there any other questions out there right now?
I'm not seeing anything in the chat that we haven't already tackled.
Metal Punks
just
just asked a question about guilds. So I know there is a 5 guild limit with each account. The question is, say I invite a friend's character to a guild. Now he's on my guild roster. Now say he starts another character. Is that character in the guild or not? The new one. Or do I have to invite
Hey,
the new
wake
one?
up.
That character is already in your guild.
guilds are based off your user ID, not off the character.
Which he does answer in his first question. I just think maybe there's a little confusion with a lot of people out there. So I know there is a 5 guild limit with each account, and that's the key word. There's a difference between a character and an account. Your account is attached to your user ID. Your characters are just a product of your account. They're not the same. So your entire account is in the guild. Emorano, no, the game is not open right now.
Open mic. Thank you. Any other questions out there, guys? I mean, something else that was asked of me earlier, and I've had some people ask this, is will I continue to do ESO Recapped after tonight? Yes. I still have plenty of content to cover. As long as I have new stuff to cover and, deliver for ESO Recapped, I'm going to do an episode, on Saturdays, 9:30 p.m. Now, I'm guesstimating probably about 2 months out, maybe. Just estimation. I might end up going to every couple weeks I do ESO Recapped, covering the patch updates that we get every 4 to 6 weeks. Eventually I'm going to be able to cover everything. And there's no reason to beat a dead horse and just make an episode just to make an episode. So, as long as I have something to cover for you guys, I'll do episodes, and then I'll be covering, the patch updates that we get in the live server, what's going on in the PTS, keeping you guys up to date with what's going on. So you don't have to worry about,
User joined
this
your
episode
channel.
or these episodes ending. They will go on.
I'm not sure,
Um,
but that question, Ryler asked, when will it be $15 a month for everyone?
It already is. It's $14.99 for everyone unless you do a 6-month
Right.
subscription.
Yeah, the game is $14.99 USD every month, and then if you purchase 3 months up front, it's $13.99 per month, And if you purchase 6 months of time up front, it's $12.99 a month is the price they get on those. There was some other question, bad momentum question. How would you describe a cupcake to someone with no taste?
You're reading that
bud?
question wrong. You're reading it wrong. The question
troll.
actually reads, "Where is my troll food?"
Yeah, bad momentum. Where is he? Where is he? He's even muted down here. He is in here trolling. God. Such a
That
troll.
momentum is in the guild. He's actually in our team speak right now. He's just being a troll.
God. Bad momentum. You are bad.
Metal Punks. Yes, he just shows up once. He actually shows up as his user ID. If you group with him, he'll show up as his character name. But in the guild window, they show up as their user ID. So if you know somebody is like Darkthorn Thunder as their character name, but their user ID is Jane232, it'll take you a couple days to realize that that's who that is.
There's a good question by Emirano. Who is Defatank? I don't know who the hell the guy is. He's just some guy that gets on here and
Scrub.
tries to talk about the Elder Scrolls Online. I don't know.
Ryler,
Name,
the
his
$15
name
is...
says tank. We're trying to talk him into playing a DPS.
Right.
Hey, Ryler, the $15 a month is not currently set up in your account page because the game hasn't officially launched. If it when it officially launches, then there will be a subscription that you have to put in a credit card or game card or something to pay for it. Keep in mind, early access is technically still not the official launch. April 4th is the official launch of the game. And yes,
Alright.
Colson, if you start tomorrow, what you said is correct. April 4th would then be your 30-day. But if they buy it on April 20th, like I said, 30-day is from April 20th, not from April 4th.
And Morano, you can actually pay him in peanuts. He prefers peanuts and horseradish. So,
God. Something else that I know that came up was talking about the 30-day access and things like that. Early access, you got the 5 days up to the 4th. For me, I ordered the retail edition of the game. If I don't receive the retail edition of the game till, the 8th, what's going to happen is I will have a 48-hour lapse of being able to still play the game to have a chance to enter my retail code inside of the box. Whenever you enter that code, that's when your 30 days of game time starts. If you wait past that 2-day lapse, your account locks. You're still going to have everything whenever you do put in a valid code in. It's going to come back up. You're going to have everything that you had there before, so you don't have to worry about nothing being deleted.
I have a question from Facebook from Wes Beard.
Okay.
He's currently asking me why he can't see the questions to the answers that we are currently giving. Yeah.
Why he
Could
can't
be
see the
screen
questions?
size that you're playing on. I know if I put Twitch on my smaller monitor, it doesn't show up the chat on the right-hand
Well,
side.
He said he's on Facebook, not on Twitch.
Well, I mean, if he's listening into the stream, I mean, he's on Twitch. I would check up in the top right, make sure that you don't have your chat pushed over. You can click the little arrow buttons and it will push chat to the right so that you can't even see it at all. You need to expand that out. Or if you have the chat popped out into a window, you may have it resized too small, possibly.
Make sure you click on the chat tab too and not the video tab.
Right. That's another good one.
Bad Momentum asks, will there be dragons? No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally just kidding.
Oh, God.
I think that's all we got for questions. Everybody's
All
just
right.
starting to troll and stuff.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and
Everyone
get...
being you and bad momentum.
let's go ahead and get the episode wrapped up and stuff. You know, I
Panorama.
don't want to leave, you know, a massive episode. I know that there was a lot of content to cover here tonight. Episode's long enough. I definitely appreciate you guys, you know, tuning in tonight and checking out the episode. If you caught the tail end of this, you can catch the replay over on youtube.com/Defatank. Go into the ESO recap section. All of my previous episodes are there. Go ahead and check those out for the, you know, the rest of the weekend, tomorrow morning or whatever. You know, get some answers to questions you want. If you don't know the answer to something, you know, stop by tomorrow during my stream. You know, we're going to be streaming tomorrow. Have a lot of people in here answering your questions. A lot of you have been in here the last couple of weekends and know what kind of stream this is. You know, we're very, very active with the viewers and answering whatever we can answer. If we don't know the answer, we'll try to find it. So, you know, I hope to see you guys back in here tomorrow morning. Whenever I turn the stream on and go live, start streaming some ESO, we're going live tomorrow morning. Definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate the guys in Great Architect very much. My officers, the liaisons I got in here, I got a great group of guys, and you know, I appreciate them very much. That goes out to Lanham, Dubba, Tendaval, Crave, you know, all of you guys that was in the PTS with me and helping test this game. You huge assets to me.
Definitely, can I throw something in real fast?
Yeah.
There are posts going up on Facebook. I've seen several currently that says ESO is emailing out for you to go ahead and activate your forums. So keep an eye on your emails. If you're online here for the next few minutes, you may be getting one to tell you to go activate and create your forum account.
Great information. See, that right there is what I'm talking about. You know, all these guys, I can't keep my eyes on everything. That's why I have this panel with me. And these guys are amazing. You know, if you're interested in joining our community, head over to greatarchitect.us. Go ahead and submit an application. You know, we'd be glad to have you. That's the goal of the community, is to be of assistance and help people. We got a couple of guilds in the community. We got the Great Architect Guild that's going to be in ESO, and then we've got Messiah Complex led by Curse. Both are Ebonheart packed. We gladly accept people that's playing Daggerfall or AD. You know, we want to answer your guys' questions and help you out wherever we can. As far as Elder Scrolls Online, again, elderscrollsonline.com. Tons of information over there. Hit their Facebook page, Twitter, get the most recent up-to-date information about that. And that's going to bring us to a wrap on ESO Recapped, episode number 15. Again, thank you guys very much. And we'll see you in the morning. Elder Scrolls
Bye-bye. Have a
Online
good time.
live. Take care, everybody.
Good night.